Hey everybody, welcome back to Disappointing Your Demons. My name is Ron and I am a grateful recovering alcoholic. Today's video is going to be about something that I have been asked over the past couple of weeks, and it is how and what are you doing to stay sober? Um, it's not an easy question to answer per se. Um, there's a lot of things that go into it, and I'm going to hit some main bullet points, but I mean, there's just a lot. This video would be an hour and a half long at least if I got into every little aspect and all the minutia of what I do to stay sober. But um, it's pretty cut and dry. I will try to elaborate on this at the end of the video, but I do everything and nothing to stay sober. Um, Sounds a little confusing, and but hopefully by the end of this video, it'll make a little sense. And like I said, I'll try to elaborate on it. Um, but yeah, everything and nothing is just the best way to put it. Um, the quitting drinking part is, believe it or not, the easy part of sobriety. Um, I wanted to save my life. I was killing myself um, with alcohol and drugs, and then and I should say I'm not a medical professional. I don't have any degrees or anything like that. My advice is just from my own experience, and my story is my own. Um, but I went, in the other video I talked about how I went to detox the first time around. But 4 times now I've quit drinking with zero medical supervision, and I don't recommend that. It's awful. Going through the withdrawals, the auditory hallucinations, the multitude of things that happen when you quit drinking cold turkey. But I was at a point in my life, I was given the gift of desperation, and I figured one way or the other I was going to freaking die, so might as well do it trying to get sober. And I beat the odds. I lived. It was 4 or 5 days of absolute hell. And all the while I went to work because I'm just hardcore like that. Like my freaking father, you know, beat a pretty good work ethic into me, I suppose. But yeah, shakes, hallucinations, sweats, heart rate, the whole 9 yards, blood pressure. I made it though, but I don't recommend you doing that. Like if you are in an area and you have health insurance or they offer free detoxes or something like that, do it because it's bad news bears. Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot more to say about it other than that. Like when they say, they use the term white knuckling it. Well, yeah, I mean, my knuckles were white, that's for sure. Um, but anyway, so what I am doing to stay sober, I have I have some thoughts on that, and I got a list in no particular order. Well, I guess it is a particular order because I wrote them down and labeled them 1 through 6. So I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to jump right into it now. I've been rambling long enough. But the number one thing that I do, surprise, surprise, to stay sober, is I don't drink. Period. I don't allow alcohol in my house. I don't allow people to bring alcohol over. I don't go and, I just don't, I don't drink. There's really no more elaborating on that. It's just what it is. I know that the second that I put that poison into my body, all bets are off. I will go from 0 to 100 in the blink of an eye. You hear the saying a lot. One's too many, 1,000 ain't enough, and that is exactly how I drink. If I have that first drink, I'm having all the drinks. And then I will go out and get my dry goods while I'm drinking because that's what I like to do, because they allow me to drink even longer. Um, and if I put that first drink into me as well, like, it's not just that I'm going to drink a million freaking beers and like a bunch of vodka. It's I change. It's like the freaking Incredible Hulk, except I'm the Incredible Jerk. Freaking, I go from being a decent human being to being one of the biggest assholes you've ever met in your entire life. So I just don't drink. Period. All right. Number two, therapy. Uh, I have a therapist. And when I started this whole thing off, I like to pepper my tragedies with humor. That's just how I am. That's how I deal with things. I always have. What's that stupid song? I'm the kind of guy that'll laugh at a funeral. Who are the naked chicks or whatever the fuck they are? Those idiots. Anyway, I named what I was doing as the Great Unfucking. I don't know why, but that's what it is. It's the Great Unfucking. So I decided that I was going to get a therapist. Now, don't just go all willy nilly and just get the first therapist that they throw at you or whatever. You got to find the right therapist for yourself. Fortunately, this time around, I did find the first therapist I came across as actually amazing. She gets me. And I also relate to and more comfortable with a female therapist because of my past. But I remember one time when I was still married to my ex-wife, she wanted me to get into therapy because obviously I'm a fucking basket case. So I get into therapy. I pick the first therapist that the insurance company, or however, it was the first therapist I came across, I think, in the directory. And older gentleman. So, and he had his office at his house. And because of my work schedule, I couldn't get to an appointment until like 8 o'clock at night. But anyway, I get there, and the first couple of sessions were like, all right, not really relating to this guy, not really feeling it, but whatever. I'll sit there and I'll babble and give him my $20 or whatever. Well, anyways, in like the third session, he's sitting there and he's kind of closing his eyes. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe he's thinking of whatever, I don't know. And so I'm talking, and he's closing his eyes, and his chin's, his head's dipping lower and lower, and I'm looking at him. And next thing you know, he starts fucking snoring. I fucking hit the roof. I was raised to say, I got the Italian hands going. I'm like, motherfucker, you're fucking sleeping. What are you doing? Wake. And he snaps awake. Oh, no, I'm not sleeping. Motherfucker, yes, you were. No, I was thinking, I was listening to you. I closed my eyes and I was like, you were snoring. And I get up. This freaking asshole has the audacity to freaking turn around and ask me, oh, well, you got my copay? No, you got your fucking copay right here. Get out of here. Well, anyway. So, obviously that didn't work out. And that turned me off from therapy for a very, very, very long time. But this time around, getting sober, I realized and I knew that I had to do something different. Because what I have been doing for the past 47 years clearly wasn't working. So, now with the miracle of technology, you can find a therapist through telehealth like anywhere, at any time of the day, 7 days a week. And so I signed up. And like I said, this woman, I don't think I'm supposed to give her name or anything, but she is amazing. And boy, through serendipity, I guess, not only, so she grew up in the Virgin Islands, lived in the Virgin Islands for a long time, and then moved to Boston and worked for a senator in Boston. And like, I was just thinking, like, when she was telling me her background, I was like, holy shit, like this is perfect. Like, she gets the culture down here. She gets the culture up there. She knows where I'm coming from. And it's just worked out. It was like a miracle in and of itself. And I tell you, just going to therapy isn't enough though. Like you got to do the work that they ask you to do. You've really got to do the, you got to dig deep, because you're trying to fix yourself. Like, what's the point otherwise? Like, if you're going to therapy, like you're trying to better yourself, right? So why go there and fight it and half-ass it? Get a good therapist and actually do the work. Fix yourself. You know, like why are you going to spend the copay or the hour of your time if you're just going to sit there with your finger up your nose, looking at this therapist like she's an idiot? Just do the work. And I tell you, I've been going to therapy for about 2 months now. It's about how long that. Anyway, whatever. I've been going to therapy for about 2 months now, and just in the 2 months time alone that I've been going to therapy, like and doing the work, man, my head is so much, it's screwed on straighter than it's ever been. And she's made me realize things about myself that I never would have come up with on my own. Um, and still not cured, not completely fixed, but a hell of a lot better than I was before I started going. Um, so yeah, just do that. Like, and it's also just having a third party, um, an unbiased third party to just listen to you bitch for an hour. Sometimes that's sometimes that's all you need, for that week or whatever. Like just somebody to sit there and listen to you. And you know, there's the argument, oh well, they get paid to listen to you. They don't really care. Yeah, some of them, but honestly, like I really feel like my therapist actually cares about me, about how, my outcome, and it's a really good feeling. So yeah, get a therapist. If you don't have insurance, I think she was saying something that if you don't have insurance, that there's ways that you can get it paid for anyway. I don't know, because I have insurance. But yeah, do that now. um, Number three, this is a big one, and it's where a lot of people start to falter, myself included. I A complete and total change of lifestyle. Um, so 3 months into this, I just recently started going back to trivia nights on Thursday nights, which is awesome because one of my friends hosts it, and I love trivia. Like my favorite TV show is Jeopardy, and rest in peace, Alex. Um, but yeah, I do that now. But at first, it's a total change of life. I stopped going to bars. I stopped going to my old watering holes. I stopped hanging out with all my old drinking buddies. Um, I had to. I had to because I tried getting sober before, and yeah, I stopped drinking. But what I would do is I would still go and do the same old things, just without a drink. I'd go to my favorite watering hole with all my best friends and drinking buddies, and uh, yeah, surprise, surprise, I'd start drinking again because of what's that term? FOMO. Yeah, there we go. Fear of missing out. Like I was always afraid that something exciting was gonna happen, and I wasn't gonna be a part of it. Um, and you know what? That's okay. Like there is stuff that happens that I was like, oh, I wish I could have been a part of that. But also, I don't wish I could have been a part of that because I would have woken up the next morning feeling like absolute death. And just anything that could trigger my trigger or threaten my sobriety, trigger my cravings or threaten my sobriety. I don't do anymore at all. Um, and it has to be done. Like you have to want this. You have to uh, go to any lengths to not drink. And a lot of people say, "Oh, it must be boring. It must be, blah blah blah." You know what? It's only it's only boring if you make it boring. Like I do other things now. Like you know, I spend time with my wife. Holy shit, what a novel idea. I play video games. I, you know, play online games with my daughter, um, who's back up in Massachusetts, and we're actually really good at it. We play Call of Duty, and we win all the time, and that is so much fun. I also, spend a lot more time in nature. I go snorkeling more. I don't hike. Fuck hiking. Walking sucks. But otherwise, like I do a lot of the things that I wanted to do when I first moved down here that I didn't do because drinking got in the way of it. Um, but also, what you need to do is um, have an escape plan when you go to things. Like I said, I've been working things in a little, little by slow, like going to trivia night, which is obviously at a bar. If I get invited to a party, I'll go to it. Um, but always have an escape plan. There's nothing wrong with doing an Irish goodbye. There's nothing wrong with excusing yourself if you're feeling itchy, or tempted or whatever, and go out and take a walk, take a deep breath. Uh, myself personally, I pray, so I'll say the Serenity Prayer a million times, um, if I have to. I don't have to so much anymore. Um, but yeah, always make sure that you have a way out. And don't worry about what they think if you just bail or that you need to take a walk. It's not their life that you're trying to save. Fuck them. Go take a walk. Do whatever. Um, but yeah, like always make sure you have a way out, and always. And the other thing that I do too when I go out to these places is that one of the biggest lifesaver, two things: coffee and ginger beer. Ginger beer is obviously non-alcoholic. It's a lot stronger than regular ginger ale. Um, but yeah, ginger beer with a little bit of grenadine and a lime, and keep that in front of you. Keep it full. That way, the nitwits won't come up and start asking you if you want a drink or a shot or whatever. Just nope, got my drink. I'm good. And generally, it works. They'll leave you alone. Um, so yeah, and then I guess that leads right into number four here, which is, I gotta try to read this because I think I had something pretty profound to say with it. Oh yeah, here it is. Don't worry about what other people think. Fuck them if they don't understand. That's my profound statement. You're trying to save yourself, okay? And you're doing this for you. That's huge right there. Doing it for you, okay? Not doing it for your wife. You're not doing it for your kids. You're not doing it for your parents. You're not doing it for anybody other than you. And I don't care what they all think or what your friends think or anything like that. Do you want to die? Do you want to be a drunken mess and wake up covered in your own piss and vomit and blood in a ditch somewhere, or maybe not wake up at all, or wake up in jail and wonder, how'd I get here? You know, they're not doing that. They're not the ones worried. You're the one worried about that, right? Save yourself. Save your own life. Do it for you. You have to want it for you. I can't stress that enough. Getting sober for somebody else does not work. Believe me, I've tried. Getting sober for my wife did not work. I tried. Getting sober because my kids begged me to stop drinking didn't work. What works is that I love me more than alcohol now. I love me more than cocaine now. And I'm not going to let it enslave me ever again. All right? Because here's the options to these people that have their little opinions on whatever you're doing. You're no good to them if you're dead or in jail or drunk as fuck. You're no good to them. You might as well be dead at that point. All right? I'm not saying this for scare tactics or anything like that. I'm saying this because it's the cold, hard truth. You saw my other video maybe about my buddy who took his head off with a shotgun. His kids are never going to see him again. They don't have a father anymore. So you're doing it for you, right? Right. All right. Number 5, educate yourself. Educate yourself about your disease. Educate yourself about your addiction, whatever it is. There's plenty of YouTube videos out there. Watch YouTube videos, read a book, learn the science behind your addiction and your disease and what it does to your body and what it does to your brain. You know, people, I said this in the last video, like say, oh, you know, it brings out the real you. No, it doesn't. They call it being under the influence for a reason. You can find videos where it actually shows a CAT scan of a normal person's brain and an alcoholic who's actively using's brain right next to each other. Or maybe it's an MRI. It's one of those medical tests. I don't know. But it shows them right next to each other. And they're completely different. The parts of the brain that are activated are completely different in an active alcoholic and somebody who doesn't drink or do drugs. It's insane. So learn the science behind alcoholism, and there's a reason behind why you are the way that you are, medically speaking, as well, with the dopamine and the different brain chemicals, and there's just so much behind it, so much more than I realized. It's not just like, the alcohol. It's everything that it does to your body that makes you addicted to it. And it makes it so that you literally cannot survive without it. Like I said earlier, your alcohol withdrawals is one of the only withdrawals that can kill you. I believe the other one is heroin. I might be wrong on that. Heroin or benzos, something like that. But alcohol is one of the few addictions that when you withdraw from it can actually physically kill you, because your body physically needs it to survive at that point. And that is absolutely insane if you think about it. This chemical that you're putting into your body that you think is solving all your problems and making you feel so good, literally is trying to kill you. Like, it literally, like, spiritually, all that other stuff aside, like, alcohol is literally a poison trying to kill you. And it's going to try to get you one way or the other, with or without it. It's just really, really mind-blowing once you really start doing a deep dive into what alcohol does. And it's legal. And it's deadlier than all the other freaking drugs out there combined. God, it blows my mind. It really does. But anyway, there's a plethora of videos and resources out there to educate you on alcoholism and drug addiction. And I watch them every morning. Every morning, I watch them, and I have some favorites. I'm gonna give some shout outs to some the ones that have been most impactful for me, and I've communicated with these people personally just through the comments and YouTube and everything, and just want to give a shout out to them. And this is actually in no particular order, but one of them is Bat Country. Great dude from England. I don't know his real name, but his YouTube channel is Bat Country. He has a lot of great videos and a lot of great information. Another guy is his channel's Shades of Clarity. Again, I don't know these people's names really. Well, one of them I do, but it's because or two of them because it's in the title of that thing. But Shades of Clarity, another great resource. Another great, his stories are great, and his insight into relapse and withdrawal and all that stuff is amazing. And very, both of those guys, very well spoken, very well put together channels. Like my channel, It's just raw. It's just, but it fits me perfectly because I'm just a mechanic in the Caribbean who drank way too much. Um, so, and then there is a channel called Talk Sober, another one, Getting Sober dot 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 again. Guy Jay, he runs that one. He's really good. New one I just got into is Hey, It's Anna. Uh, she's absolutely amazing. Love her stories. Really good resource there too. Check her out. Living Free with Jess, and then Stephen, Alcohol Free Lifestyle. Um, those are all great. They're all great. They're all great people. Great stories. Great message. I highly recommend checking them out. And then I watch a lot of TEDx talks about addiction. Um, those are really good too. And then finally, last but not least, and a lot of you guys are going to hate to hear this, uh, get into a program. Get into a program. I choose AA. I'm not advocating for AA. It's what works for me, but get into a program. Here's what I do with AA. I am in AA. I believe in God. I have a higher power. A lot of people, when they hear the God thing, they think that AA is a cult and God, and I separate God from organized religion. And in my opinion, about when people start balking at, oh, finding a higher power, finding God, well, you know what? You worship the freaking beer bottle for the last 20 years. Why not just give God a shot? Why not find a higher power? Maybe, just maybe, it might work. I don't know. Works for me. I pray every morning. I meditate every morning. Um, I pray at night. I thank my higher power for another day of sobriety. And I thank my higher power, and I ask my higher power for another 24 hours when I wake up in the morning. I ask what I can be of service, what I can do to help another suffering alcoholic. I be of service in my AA group. I chair a group. Um, yeah, but I have a purpose. I have a purpose. I follow the 12 steps. I do the work in my program. Um, And that's really huge. I have a sponsor that I call and I talk to every day because he gets me. There's nothing better than talking to another alcoholic because they're the only people that really understand what the fuck I'm going through. And there's nothing that I can tell them that's going to make them judge me or think, oh, that dude's really fucked up. No, we're all in the same boat. I do have a saying that, God steers the ship. I just don't drink. And that is the crux of it. And things have come to pass that I have no other explanation for other than that they are a miracle, and that my higher power is working in my life. I heard a saying, we all go to bed sober and we all wake up alcoholics. It means we have to do the work every day to make sure that we don't drink. So all of this is what I do to stay sober, and so much more. I wish I could really get into it, but apparently there's only a limited space on my phone apparently. So, but I do all of this, but I don't think about it. I don't think about doing it. Like I had to sit down and write all this shit down because I was like, what do I actually do to stay sober? So that's what I mean by everything and nothing. I do everything on this list. I do everything that I possibly can to stay sober, but I don't think about it. It's just become natural to me, so I do nothing. It's like when I first started playing the bass. My bass teacher said, as I'm learning the scales and, notes and different strings, and he goes, I'm teaching you all this so you can forget it later on. And that's kind of what sobriety is to me now. I have 90 days. I say all the time, get that word only out of your vocabulary. You don't only have 90 days. You don't only have 24 hours. You've got, even if you have 5 minutes, that's a freaking miracle for alcoholics. You have 5 minutes. You have 10 days. You have 10 months. You have 10 years. That's what you got. And you know what? You got your life. You got your life back when you get sober. I know this is a little bit of a long video, but please like and subscribe to the channel. I love you all. I really do. Feel free to comment, reach out, talk to me, whatever. If you need help, though, if you really need help, There is a way out. That's what I'm trying to stress the most in these videos. There is a way out. There is a path. I want to see you live. Okay? Thank you.